Okay. You sure? Okay, what happens if we move around? There's a disaster.
No, move as in... But
like chair. Is everything... Okay, you just moved your chair.
No, that's fine.
Voila. You sure it's perfect, yeah?
Yeah, this is good. It's recording. Ready? Alhamdulillah wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah amma ba'd. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Brothers and sisters, with the brothers again. Mashallah, the brothers from Saudi. They're here with us. And they're going to be going soon. So we're basically just milking them for what we can, inshallah ta'ala. If you guys didn't watch the previous video, I'd request you to please go back and watch it, where we talked about their experiences benefiting from the scholars that they've studied from, inshallah. Because this is kind of a follow-up. Okay, the reason we spoke to them about your experiences and the lessons that you guys had both learnt from the major scholars that you've happened to benefit with Allah's permission, was to encourage and motivate our brothers and sisters to go and study the religion themselves. Do you see where I'm coming from? So now we're going to go through a bit more of a practical process, okay, of studying the deen. How one should go about studying the deen, right? So there's not going to be no absolute structure to this video, but we're going to have a nice, healthy discussion. We're going to try and tackle this from different angles. Akhi, I want to start with you, okay? I'm going to start with you because you've been to a couple countries, right? To study. You've been to Egypt and you've been to Saudi. And of course you studied here in the UK as well, right? If a person is sitting there on his table watching this video or on their iPhone or their iPad or whatever else it is, listen, I want to study, what would be the first thing you would say? Where should they start? What should they do? What stage? What's step one?
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Sallallahu sallam wa baraka ala abdihi wa rasulih Nabina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in amma ba'd. Then ikhwan, the first thing that I would recommend is for a person to look at themselves, look at yourself and ask yourself, why do I want to study this knowledge? Why do I want to learn about the religion? And the first answer should be so that I can worship Allah. And from that we get that the knowledge that you have to learn as a Muslim is the knowledge that allows you to worship Allah the way that you need to worship Him.
Sahih.
Everything that you need to do in terms of the rights of Allah is what you need to know how to do.
Okay.
For example, Salah. You have to pray Salah, right?
Sahih.
Therefore, you have to know how to pray Salah. So as a person who's watching this, ask yourself, I need to learn about the things that, or tell yourself that I need to learn about the things that keeps my deen upright. Okay. How do I make sure I'm a religion? I'm you know, they say I'm on deen. What does it mean to be on deen? Is that you're practicing the things that the deen tells you to do. So how do I learn these things? So a person, first of all, I would say, is that make your intention sincere. Have that intention that I need to learn the religion so I can act by it and I can teach people from that religion as well. Okay. So after that, I would say, Ikhwan, go and take the path.
Sorry, Akhi, just mention, because the reason why you're focusing on the intention, because the intention is the foundation of everything, isn't it?
Exactly. The
Prophet ﷺ said, إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ, that a person's actions are judged by the intentions. Imam Ibn Jawzi rahimahullah mentions in Sayyid al-Khatir an incident of a young student who died very young, and one of his peers had a dream the night after he had died, and in his dream he saw the student who had died. He didn't study much, he didn't advance because he died as a young student. He saw him in the company of ulama, major scholars. And then in the morning when he woke, he told his teacher, he said, you know that student that died last night, I saw him with these major giant scholars. And his teacher told him that, you know, perhaps he was in the ranks of those scholars in the dream because his intention was as great as the intention of those scholars. So he never achieved the knowledge that the ulama had, but he achieved the status that those scholars had, inshaAllah, due to the intention, because the intention is what really counts. Imam Yahya ibn Abi Kathir rahimahullah, that's what he used to say, seek knowledge, study the intention before you study the action. And from that, everything else will be correct for you. But if the intention is gone, then
everything else is gone.
Everything else is gone. But question, and I would bring this to you, and then I want to come back to you, Akhi, because I know I cut you off half. But I want to bring this to you now, yeah. But some people might say, but you know, I don't have a sincere intention to study. I'm studying. I can kind of just tell that, you know, I'm studying. Maybe I want to be famous. Maybe I want to be a teacher. Maybe I just want to be known in my community. So shall I not study now? Shall I not study because I don't have a sincere intention?
I think no. Go there and change your intention. Make sure that when you go there, that you change your intention for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the Sufyan al-Thawri says, ما عرفت شيئا أشد علي من نيتي. The thing that I was trying to deal with the most was with my intention. That was something that was difficult for me.
And Sufyan al-Thawri was one of the greatest scholars at the time of the Salaf. Yet he, whilst he's a scholar, whilst he's teaching, said, I'm still studying, I'm still struggling with my intention.
نعم. He
Okay.
said that. And one of the Salaf said, طلبنا العلم لغير الله فأبى أن يكون إلا لله. Which
Subhanallah.
means we sought knowledge for the sake of Allah. We sought knowledge not for the sake of Allah, but then the knowledge became for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala only.
So knowledge refused to be except for Allah.
Naam, jazakallah khair, naam. So there's a story behind this. Imam al-Ghazali, rahimahullah, he grew up as a poor person. He grew up as him and his brothers. And there used to be a place where they would go to seek knowledge. Now, the only reason why they went there is so that they can have something to eat.
Because they were poor, right?
Because they were poor, yeah. They never had nothing to eat. So their intention was not to seek knowledge. Their intention was to come to the dars, after the dars, to have something to eat because they were really hungry.
Okay.
So he said, we went to seek knowledge not for the sake of Allah Azza wa Jal, just to eat. And then what happened is when they sought more knowledge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they became more knowledgeable. They learned the ayat and the hadith about the one who doesn't. What will happen to the one that seeks knowledge not for the sake of Allah Azza wa Jal? That he'll be the first one to be dragged to the hellfire. Our intentions changed and it became sincere. So the ilm was for Allah Azza wa Jal only.
So knowledge basically is a tool to purify your intention.
Mm-hmm.
So the scholars, they don't ever advise a person who's got a bad intention to stop seeking knowledge. Rather, they tell the person to carry on seeking knowledge.
And change it.
And just change your
And
intention.
keep working himself. It's
Okay.
something. It's a constant battle.
Okay. So to know that it is the foundation, never neglect it. But at the same time, know it's not easy to get. Even if you don't have it, still carry on seeking knowledge. But know that it's the hardest thing that you're gonna have to work on.
Mm-hmm.
Good. Yasin, coming back to you now. So now we've got we're struggling. We're trying to do jihad and nafs. We're trying to strive to get our intention on point.
Mm-hmm.
Now what do we do? Practical steps.
The first practical step that I'll say is make dua to Allah, because this knowledge is a light, as they say. Imam Malik said to Imam Shafi'i, إن هذا العلم نور يقذفه الله في قلب العبد. This knowledge is a light that Allah throws into the heart of the slave.
No.
So knowing that this knowledge is not from us. I can't get the knowledge because I want to. The knowledge is pure fadl from Allah, pure favor and gift from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So a person needs to make dua for Allah, to Allah for that knowledge, and then you start taking the steps to it.
And it's sad because people will not see that as a practical step.
Exactly.
People will be like, dua, no, but I mean practical. Like, how do I get into Medina?
No, this is a practical
My
step.
brothers and sisters, wallahi, if a person from the general mass is in need of making dua to Allah for every single one of their needs, then a student of knowledge is in even more need of making dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. A student of knowledge should be an example when it comes to calling upon Allah Azza wa Jal and begging Him and asking Him subhanahu wa ta'ala. No one knocks on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's door except that Allah will open the doors for him.
Definitely.
But you have to ask. This is the foundation. Every morning, was there anyone more knowledgeable than the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam? No, yet the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, Allahumma inni as'aluka ilman nafi'ah wa rizqan tayyiba wa amalan mutaqabbala. We say, oh Allah, after Fajr, he would make this dua every day, the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam, without fail. Oh Allah, I ask you for beneficial knowledge. I ask you for beneficial knowledge. In the Quran, if you look, Allah commanded the Prophet to make dua for knowledge. There was nothing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told the Prophet to ask Allah to increase him in except for knowledge. Where Allah said, وَقُلْ رَبِّ زِدْنِي عِلْمًا. Say, Allah said, increase me in knowledge. Increase me in knowledge. That's quite deep. Allah didn't ask the Prophet to increase him in leadership, to increase him in strength, to increase him in power, to increase him in numbers, in terms of, no, increase me in knowledge. So ask, beg. The Prophet was more knowledgeable than you and I. Yeah, every morning he used to ask. Barakallah fiqh.
And then after that, obviously we mentioned that a person needs to learn what is obligatory for him to do. So a person needs to go and learn the things that he has to do for Allah. You have to learn how to pray. Every single Muslim needs to pray, so he has to learn how to pray. Every person who has to pay zakah has to learn how to pay zakah.
No.
Every person who has to fast has to learn how to fast. And every person who has to do hajj has to learn how to do hajj. So you learn these things, and so a person needs to learn those things, the fundamental things that keeps your religion upright. And the most fundamental is your tawheed. To learn the tawheed of Allah, the aqeedah, your belief in Allah. What do I believe about Allah? And who is the one who's only worthy of worship? Can I make a dua to a grave or something other than Allah? Can I slaughter for other than Allah? Allah says in the Quran, وَلَقَدْ بَعَثْنَا فِي كُلِّ أُمَّةٍ رَسُولًا أَنِ اعْبُدُوا اللَّهَ وَاجْتَنِبُوا الطَّاغُوتِ. We have sent to every single nation a prophet. And what was his message? أَنِ اعْبُدُوا اللَّهَ, worship Allah alone. وَاجْتَنِبُوا الطَّاغُوتِ, and stay away from anything that is worshipped other than Allah. This is the message of the prophets. And the prophets, the inheritance of the prophets was knowledge. Therefore, the knowledge that was inherited from the prophet was the knowledge of Tawheed and the knowledge of this religion. You get it? So this is what we're trying to learn. What you're trying to learn is what the prophets came to us with.
And that's the foundation of the whole religion.
Exactly.
Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, أَلَمْ تَرَ كَيْفَ ضَرَبَ اللَّهُ مَثَلًا كَلِمَةً طَيِّبَةً كَشَجَرَةٍ طَيِّبَةٍ أَصْلُهَا ثَابِتٌ وَفَرْعُهَا فِي السَّمَاءِ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave the analogy of this religion like a tree. And the foundation, the root, the basis of this tree is the pure word, which is La ilaha illallah. And from it, Allah said, its roots are firm. La ilaha illallah, its roots are firm in the ground. وَأَصْلُهَا وَفَرْعُهَا فِي السَّمَاءِ. Its branches go high into the sky. So every single chapter, whether it be nikah, whether it be hajj, salah, financial transactions, funeral rites, whether you study manners, it all stems from La ilaha illallah.
Exactly.
So it makes sense that you really, that's the starting point. And don't think to yourself, I know La ilaha illallah, because the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was spending 13 years was teaching La ilaha illallah, right?
Yeah,
13
and
years.
despite that, Allah still said to him in Medina, whilst he's in Medina, sent down an ayah saying, فَعْلَمْ أَنَّهُ لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا اللَّهِ.
Wow.
Know that there is nothing worthy of worship.
SubhanAllah, yeah, Surah
In
Muhammad
Medina,
Medina, yeah,
in
wallahi.
Medina.
So even after 13 years, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala still told them, commanded them, educate
فَعْلَمْ.
yourself upon La ilaha illallah. Jameel, okay, so question I want to ask now about the reason I want to come and bring this to you, inshallah, because you mentioned something powerful. You said, okay, look, you have to prioritize, okay? Because when you go to Saudi, when you go to Egypt, whatever, you can learn grammar, you can learn sarf, you can learn nahwu, you can learn qira'at, you can learn, usul al-fiqh, mustalah al-hadith, all these sciences. But Yasin just said you got to start off with that which is immediately obligatory upon you. The tawheed, the la ilaha illallah, the salah, the zakat, the fasting, the hajj. Do you necessarily have to go out of the country to learn those things? Because I know some brothers and sisters are going to be sitting there thinking it's not practical for me. Genuinely, it's not practical for me to go out and study abroad. But does that mean I can't now learn my salah? Does that mean I can't now learn my shahada?
Barakallah. Not at all, Akhi al-Kareem. If you can find yourself a sheikh who you can trust, that he can teach you Islam, then go to him. It doesn't mean that that you have to go abroad to seek knowledge. It starts from here. And I want to mention that some people, they want to go abroad to seek knowledge. Here themselves, they're not seeking knowledge. Like the person, obviously, you can't go to Saudi Arabia or Egypt or any other Muslim country seeking knowledge. You don't even have the basics. Some of them, they don't even know a word of Arabic. Some of them, they don't know grammar, nothing basic about Islam. So when they go over, they're going to struggle. They're going to start from zero. So it's very important that you have a base. You build yourself a base before you go there. So it's easier for you to actually seek knowledge, because some people, Allah barik fikum, they want to seek knowledge. For example, they say, brother, help me to go to Medina. I want to go to Medina. You try to help him to his best to your best capability, but himself, he doesn't even seek knowledge. Like there's a dars which is 10 minutes away from his house. He doesn't even go seek knowledge. So if you yourself are not seeking knowledge in the UK, what makes you think that when you go to Saudi Arabia, khalas, mashallah, you're going to become Ahmed ibn Hanbal, khalas?
So what you're saying is, if you don't seek it here, you're not going to seek it there.
No, of course.
It's true, because you hear that a lot of the students, Allah Ta'ala alam, but this is what I've heard from our elders and our teachers. They mentioned that the reason they don't benefit those who have graduated from Medina University already, that subhanallah, a lot of the times, brothers who were not already studying before, when they come, it's just like a normal uni lifestyle without the partying and stuff. But they just replace it with getting together, eating rice and chicken and whatnot, and going to different restaurants. But there's nothing wrong with that. But not at the expense of studying. They don't necessarily attend the durus and the halaqat in the masjid of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Rather, they spend more time, just kind of doing their own thing, right?
Yeah, it's not necessarily just Medina. It's everywhere.
It's everywhere.
If you're going to go Egypt,
I was just giving that as an example, yeah.
Wherever you go.
And not all students. We don't want to say
of
that
course,
every single
of course. But it's just that danger to be aware. So, Akhi, did you? I'm only asking this just as to make it practical. Were you studying before? Did you like? Because obviously you memorized Quran before you went, so there was some studying you were doing before, right? Mm-hmm. That made it obviously easier for you. So how easy was it for you? The fact that you had learned the Quran before you went and other things and whatnot.
Akhil Aziz, may Allah bless you, my dear brother. I think, you know, like, alhamdulillah, when I started practicing, when I started memorizing the Quran again, started learning the tajweed, you know, went to a few classes, few durus by students of knowledge who actually graduated from Medina. So alhamdulillah, yani, it made things a lot easier for me when I went to Saudi Arabia. Also alhamdulillah that, you know, prior to coming to Saudi Arabia, I spoke the Arabic language. Alhamdulillah, you know, my mother, she's fluent in the language.
MashaAllah.
So
You learned at home.
yes, alhamdulillah. So, you know, I would practice at home with my
MashaAllah.
mother, alhamdulillah. So that made it easier for me going over there.
MashaAllah. But yes, you had never spoken Arabic at home. You learnt it here, right?
In the UK.
Yes.
Yeah.
MashaAllah. So do you feel like that benefited you?
Yeah, of course, subhanAllah. You know, when I got there, when I got to Saudi, a lot of people, they didn't know any Arabic or any Quran. And so I saw them, they weren't able to attend the lessons of the mashayikh in Mecca, for example. We had a lot of lessons in Mecca, where every single day there's a sheikh teaching lessons, you know. But a lot of the brothers who didn't learn any Arabic or anything and didn't know any Quran, haven't studied anything, it was way above their heads. So that's something that, when you're here, you need to benefit from.
Okay, so
Sorry, can I just mention something?
Yeah,
Sorry, I do apologize. You know, some people, they think it's impossible to learn the Arabic language. Wallahi, you know, if you work hard, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make it easy for you. Well, I knew a brother, there was a brother who, he done the Arabic language and he left. He was a Canadian brother. The guy came to Saudi Arabia, didn't even know nothing. No alif, ba, ta, nothing. Riva brother.
Wow.
And subhanAllah, every day he worked really hard. Every day I would see him in the library. Every word that he heard, he had like a dictionary. He would actually translate the word. He worked so hard, and mashallah, within 1 year, he became fluent in the language.
MashaAllah.
So it's like
Just 1 year.
Yeah, 1 year. What you put in will come out. So subhanAllah, he didn't say, oh, you know, Arabic language is not my first language. A lot of people, they say to themselves, it's impossible for me to learn the Arabic language. If you say to yourself, it's difficult and it's impossible for me to learn the Arabic language, wallahi, you will not learn it. But if you say, inshallah, it's easy, Allah is going to aid me, being Allah Ta'ala is going to be easy for you to learn the language.
Jade, mashallah. So I just want to emphasize on what the brothers are saying. You know, obviously, like when you go to one of the universities, correct me if I'm wrong. If you haven't studied Arabic, then first you'll spend the first year or two studying.
Yeah.
But if you've already learnt it, you can go straight in and study study the real books and really what you're after, isn't it?
No, not all of the universities. Some they force you to do it. You have to.
Even if you've
Some of the
got it.
universities,
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, for example, my university, same thing. Him, Jamiat al-Imam al-Riyadh.
Medina's
Like
not like that.
Medina's
Medina's
not
like
like
that, yeah.
Medina,
Yeah.
if you know the language.
They'll put you straight through.
But then even if you do know the language, you don't have to work as hard in the university because you can spend more time in the masjid
yeah, exactly.
benefiting from the ulama because you've already got the language, right?
Exactly, yeah.
And so it's not saying that, you know, if you don't know the language, you can't go. No, they'll teach you the language there, but it will just make your life easier. And it's just getting into the habit of having learned before. It will you know, it's like they say, hit the ground running. And as soon as you hit the ground, you're already running. You don't have to warm up. You're already warmed up. You're already.
You won't get that shock.
And like I'll give you an example, like some of the students who study with us in the university from Africa, from the other Arab countries, some of the Saudis, like us Westerners, they have a head start you know, because obviously Arabic is their main language. From a young age they learned Alfiya ibn Malik, from a young age memorized the Quran.
Stronger.
So for them, like we're trying to catch up with them. And it's quite difficult, you know, because obviously from a young age, us obviously we come from the West, you know, pampered and stuff like this. You know, them mashallah tabarakallah
they've got it.
From a young age, mashallah, they've obviously learned Arabic. Probably those from Africa mastered the Malikiyya madhab, studied for 5-6 years. So when they get there, mashallah, they're already mashallah strong students of knowledge. While us, we have to catch up with them.
So this is profound because you might be applying for a year, for 2 years, for 3 years, you might not get in, but that doesn't mean you're not working. You're still working here. You're learning the wajibat, the obligatory things upon you. You should have, you know, studied books in, you know, fiqh of salah and whatnot. Of course, if you're looking to get married now, then the ahkam of marriage become obligatory on you. You want to engage in business, so the ahkam of financial transactions become obligatory upon you. Meaning a person will be sinning going into financial transactions without having studied this stuff, at least on some kind of a basic level. And that can already be attained and acquired here. Like I know, for example, Ustad Abdurrahman has been holding lessons all throughout the summer, covering these fundamental basic things. So, you know, that's just in our local community. In your local community, I'm sure there's many things that are happening, inshallah. Okay, so move on. Now, akhi, the people, let's say, okay, they've got the intention, they're making dua, they are studying here, they're making their efforts as hard as they can. Question, which country should they go to? The reason I ask this because I've heard, and I want to get your take on this, I've heard a lot of people say, if you don't know the Arabic or you want to first solidify your Arabic, go to Egypt first. Because in Egypt, you will focus on Arabic and Quran. And a student who focuses on Arabic and Quran, he will come out, generally speaking, stronger when he goes and studies in a university in somewhere like Saudi. Would you recommend this? Yeah.
Definitely. I think Egypt, from my experience in Egypt, I preferred the way they taught Arabic, and it's also in terms of Quran, I preferred the way they done it. Because even though generally I believe that Saudi Arabia, you know, it has Mecca and Medina, and it has a lot of scholars compared to the rest of the world, and the environment is a Islamic environment, and the government is an Islamic government. You get it? So it's like you're in a literally completely Islamic, surrounded by Islamic society where scholars are easily attainable, accessible. But in Egypt, you have one thing which I really liked was that their tajweed was really one of the best. In terms of tajweed, Egypt was one of the best countries, and it's known in the past. Egypt, Morocco, and Sham was all known to have the best in terms of tajweed and Quran, ulum al-Quran, which are sciences related to the Quran. They've always had the best. Also in the Arabic language in Egypt, I believe is probably one of the best. And that's also you can you're more focused in,
and you're gonna memorize Quran there, because I remember an advice that Abu Taymiyyah gave me, and I really benefited from it. He said, Imran, start memorizing. Because at the end of the day you can learn all this knowledge and have all this understanding, but what it always coming back down to is this one book, this Kalam Allah, right? So if you all day, every day, you're studying, but you haven't memorized Quran. What are you gonna do in the khutbah? What are you gonna teach? What lessons what are you gonna do? You know what I'm saying?
And you can see the difference even when you go there. You see the difference between a student who's memorized Quran and who hasn't memorized Quran. You see the difference in terms of everything.
And just me personally, as in like I'm no way trying to put myself out there and say I'm a student or anything like that, but just in my own little attempts to study wherever I can, I noticed that in this year where I started to try and give more emphasis to memorization, I feel like my everything just tripled for me. I feel like if only I had started this before. And brothers and sisters, wallahi, don't waste time. Memorize when you're young. Imam Hassan al-Basri rahimahullah used to say, "Al-ilmu fi al-sighar kan-naqsh al-hajar, wal-ilmu fi al-kibar kal-kitabati al-ma." Right? He said the knowledge when you're young is like carving into a rock, but trying to seek knowledge when you're old is like trying to write in water. If you write in water, the water is gonna fizzle away. Wallahi, not to say that you can't study when you're old. There's always potential to study, but let's be real, it's less. Now me, I'm 27 and I'm here trying to memorize Quran and trying to memorize hadith and trying to memorize poetry. Wallahi, I struggle. I have to work 10 times harder. There's a brother, I don't want to mention his name, but we all know him. A young brother, recently started practicing, but his memorization is ajib. He doesn't even know. Right now, he doesn't even know how to read Arabic. Like he listens and he's started memorizing a hadith. He started memorizing parts of Ibn Qayyim's book. Wallahi, he's off the top of his head, just by listening to it. Like it's all random. He listens and he just memorizes. Because the youngsters are like that. So, and I remember I tried to memorize Surah Ali Imran when I was like 21, and I memorized like 10 pages. Like so quick, and I was shocked. And now I'm like, right, but it takes me so long, so I have to work much harder. So don't waste time. So you're saying Egypt is a
I liked Egypt for Quran and Arabic especially Quran and Arabic.
And then spend about a year or two there. And also like if you're applying for universities and you're waiting for that acceptance, it usually takes a year before you might be accepted. Go and spend that time there.
Don't waste that time.
And just for you guys, because I right now have a lot of friends in Egypt, brother Gouda is in Egypt, right? It will cost you about £300, £350 a month to live there. That's including your rent, that's including your tuition fees at the institute, and that's including your food and whatnot.
Quite cheap, mashallah.
Yeah, it's not much at all, wallahi, it's not much at all. So, and the way it works is that it's like a one and a half month per term in the institute, generally speaking. Each term is about a month and a half. So, you could probably do like 2 months if sometimes parents are worried about, I'm going to be gone for a year. So, go for 2 terms, which is 3 months. Come back for 3 months and then go for 3 months. Maybe you could start. There's always a way. You don't have to go for 1 year. There's a revert brother I'm talking to right now. His family's a bit scared of sending him away. You're a revert. You're going to go join the Muslims in Egypt. I said I could just go for 2 terms, 3 months. Come back for 3 months, go for another 3 months. And get them used to it, and then suddenly just pay for 4 years. And then, then you go. Then you can study. Okay, any institutes that you'd recommend in Egypt?
Personally, I didn't go to an institute.
Okay.
Me, I was going to the
Private classes?
No, I wasn't even going private. I was going to the mashayikh in lessons in different masjids.
Okay,
and
mashallah.
I was visiting mashayikh and trying to get ijazat and things like that. So I
Mashallah.
wasn't.
Jade, so there's Al-Ibana Institute,
Yeah, I've heard
which
of
is
it.
where some brothers study Al-Fajr,
Also
Kalima.
qalam institute as well.
In Egypt?
Yeah. One brother said qalam.
No, I don't think it's a Qalam Institute.
Maybe because
That's
there's
one
a lot
brother.
of institutes in Egypt.
One of my students, he studies in a place called Al-Qalam Institute.
In Egypt?
Yeah, in Egypt. Yeah, I think. Qalam.
Nowhere else?
No,
in
no.
Egypt?
Yeah.
I think he said Kalima.
I think Kalima. I don't know.
Yeah, it's Kalima.
I think Kalima. Sorry.
Qalam something movie. Kalima. Unless you can be sure there is a Qalam there. Okay, mashallah. Let's quickly move on and round up inshallah ta'ala akhi.
On mission how to apply.
Yeah, that's what I'm coming to now.
Yeah.
That's exactly.
Everyone just going to pray Maghrib.
Yeah, say that again?
Need to pray Maghrib.
Yeah, no, should we pray and come back?
No, we'll do that quickly and go pray inshallah. 5 minutes.
It's getting a bit dark.
5 minutes inshallah we'll conclude this inshallah.
Yeah, cut that bit out.
Yeah,
Of course.
conclude inshallah.
One second. Okay, let me ask a question. What was the question? Okay, so coming to you now, inshallah. You want to help the brothers and want to help maybe even the sisters if we can to get to Saudi, right? Study in the universities. Just to mention, sisters can also go to Egypt. They can also study. There's many sisters that go. They're studying Ibana, they're studying Fajr and whatnot. So what we're saying is not restricted to just brothers and sisters. But sisters, you can't travel alone. You have to get your dad to drop you off there or your mahram to drop you off there. They can come back, but they got to drop you and bring you back. But you can do that just like the brothers can. Actually, now coming to the universities in Saudi, and this is actually I think the main thing everyone's been waiting for, and I left this for you because I know this is something that there's a lot of passion. You know, you're trying to help a lot of brothers with this. How to apply for the actual university?
When it comes to Medina University, first of all, you have to go there, perform Umrah. After you perform Umrah, you go for an interview. Once you have the interview done, you fill in the application form. That's step number 1. Step number 2, upon is to do dua.
Okay.
A lot of people, they apply and they don't leave the dua. The most important thing is the dua.
Subhanallah.
Make dua to Allah Azza wa Jal. Allah says, "Ud'uni astajib lakum." Call upon me, and I'll respond to your dua. People, they just do, they do the sabab, but they forget. They only do some of the asbab. Some people, they only just apply, but they don't make dua to Allah Azza wa Jal. So it's important that a person makes lots of dua to Allah Azza wa Jal, that Allah makes him. Also, not only applying for Medina University. I think I read about 6 months ago that 90,000 people applied for Medina from all over the world. 90,000, something like that. So imagine 90,000 people apply. What are your chances of being accepted? It's very slim. It's very competitive. That's why I say, don't only apply for Medina. Apply for Riyadh, Jamiat al-Imam, Jamiat al-Malik
And there's like 2-3 universities in Riyadh, right?
This is Jamiat al-Imam, Mohammed bin Saud, and the Jamiat al-Malik Saud, Kingston University, which I study in. There's also a university, Al-Qura in Mecca.
Yes.
Al-Qura in Mecca.
And Al-Qura has women can go.
Yeah,
right?
women can go. Yeah.
So sisters can't study in Medina.
No, sisters can study Al-Qura and
Qasim.
And also King Saud, right?
And also King Saud University.
So okay. So sisters, this is big now. Al-Qura you can study there, which is in Mecca.
You need a mahram though.
Al-Qura
To drop you, right?
No.
For example, let's say your brother or your cousin is there, or your husband. Like for example, let's just say Al-Qura University. I study in the faculty of Sharia. I can bring my wife, she can study there because she just have a mahram there.
Okay.
Likewise for Qasim University. Qasim University, from what I've been told, there's a faculty of Sharia. She can study the deen there. But I think for Qasim, there is no...
Qasim or Riyadh?
For Qasim and for Riyadh.
You don't have to have a mahram.
No. You have to have a mahram, but I'm saying that... I think there was a confusion. But Qasim, you have to have a mahram. All of it, you have to have a mahram.
Okay. So basically, sisters would have to have one of their husbands be there with them.
Or their brother,
or their father, right?
No.
In Egypt, that's not the case. In Egypt, they can go there and they can just remain there. In Pakistan, if they want to study with ulama al-hadith, they can go, they can be dropped off at the institutes there and their husbands can come back. But in Saudi, they want the mahram to remain in the country with them.
Yeah, it's the same city, yeah.
And
so
also,
it could maybe help if they marry one of the students in Medina.
Yeah.
The brothers are single. Just saying.
So,
But it's a possibility. It's
This
is a practical show, Yasin. It's a practical show. Any Barwani sister. It's practical show. Practical.
Next point.
No, sorry, I want to mention something, Akhi. A lot of people, they only focus in Medina. When they don't get accepted to Medina, they get heartbroken. Don't just only focus in Medina. Me, I applied for Medina, I applied for Qasim, I applied for Mecca, but 3-4 universities. And I was accepted King Saud University. And I applied for Medina twice, 3 times. Then eventually I was accepted. You know, some person might apply once, he doesn't get accepted, he gets heartbroken. Keep knocking, and eventually Allah is going to open the door for
so
you.
I think Riyad will be recommended to apply. We'll put the links. Can we put? Sorry, I wanted to mention.
I'll give you the links.
Yeah, I wanted to mention. You said that you have to go Umrah, but isn't there like an application stage online first?
Like for example, my university, King Saud University and Jamiat al-Imam, it's an online application.
Okay.
Because you cannot go there with the Umrah visa.
Okay.
Yeah.
Even Medina's online.
But Medina's online as well.
Medina's online, but also you need to have an interview. Why? Because when you have an interview, you don't have to have an interview, but
It's better.
it maximizes your chance of being accepted.
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't have to go.
And same with Jeddah.
Yeah, online.
Jeddah.
Jeddah.
Oh, Jeddah, as the Americans say. I'm in Jeddah.
Okay, that's what they say.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll put the links to these various universities. Your job is basically study here, go Egypt in the meantime, learn Quran and Arabic as much as you can, inshallah ta'ala.
And don't forget the dua.
And don't forget dua, ikhlas, and at the same time be applying at all the different unis. And if you don't get it one year, next year. Don't get it one, next year.
You know, one thing, you don't have to put your heart and soul all into the uni. You know, knowledge is everywhere.
Yeah.
You can get knowledge from where you can find scholars in different places. You know, for example, the one thing I done was that when I was applying, when I didn't get accepted to Medina for the first time, I was crying. I was so sad. I was literally so sad.
For me, I was heartbroken.
Yeah, I was heartbroken, man. I was so sad.
But can I ask you something? Because would you now, being like for example in Riyadh, would you prefer to be in Riyadh or Medina?
To be honest, akhi, wallah, you know.
Obviously, Medina. I don't mean from the angle of the Prophet's masjid and the virtue of Medina, but I mean in terms of just purely studying and the scholars that you're around and the contact that you can have with them. In Riyadh or Medina, which one do you think?
To be honest, I would say Riyadh.
That's deep. You see that?
I would say Riyadh.
It's not about following the crowd or the people. Sometimes it's not so much about the studying; it's about the name. Medina.
No, but one thing you have to Medina. I ain't gonna lie, Medina is good, man. They have scholars. They have good halaqat.
They have the haram.
They have
No doubt.
But
Let's just go
one thing when I realized that Allah is gonna choose whatever is best for you as long as you're sincere and you're making dua.
That's true.
And I realized that myself. I realized that if I went to Medina personally, as my personality, I wouldn't have benefited as much as I'm benefiting right now.
You benefit more in Jeddah.
I think I'm benefiting because I'm in Mecca most of the time.
Yeah.
I'm going to Jeddah is like 40 minutes away from Mecca.
Yeah.
So most of the time I'm living in Mecca anyway, and there's less people. So you know me, I'll tell you honestly. I'm very social person. Yeah, you guys might not agree, but
No, you're social.
that's
what I was saying.
I'm too social.
That's what I was saying. You should have smiled. This is you see the real Yasin's.
No, I'm too social. See, yeah. If I have a friend, I think I'll waste a lot of time. And in Medina, I know so many brothers in Medina. So if I was there, me personally, I think I wouldn't, you know, I would be like too much socializing. So if you know that,
the rice and the lamb,
exactly, eating, going out restaurants, and that.
Parties.
I don't like that. I don't like going out restaurants and that. But just friends, they influence you, innit?
Yeah.
So, but where I am now, it's very empty. There's no Westerners. I'm in Mecca. I go by myself. I go to the house where I stay in Mecca. I stay there. I sleep. I come back to the Haram. I don't talk to many people. Alhamdulillah, it make me benefit a lot. And the thing is that I realized that I wanted Medina so much, but when I wasn't accepted, I later realized that Allah only wants good for you. Allah only chooses what's good for you as long as you make dua to Allah.
Also, me, I wanted Medina as well, but I think maybe it was better for me to be in Riyadh. Maybe it was better for Yasin to be Jeddah. Allah knows what's best for you, know?
لا شك ولا ريب. لكن أخي, I have one final question, yeah?
No.
The links are going to be in below, by the way, inshallah. And if you don't see them there, it's because the brother didn't remind me, or it wasn't. But if you drop a comment and you remind us, we'll get them there. But this is going to be a deep question now. Do you have any private links with the admissions department and that?
You know, a lot of people they think that, mashallah, I know the head of the university.
No,
mashallah,
Listen to the point. It's a true point. I know he's going to say it's true.
They think that I have the head of the principal of the university. I have my street down here. You know, don't accept so and so. Accept so and so. You know, akhi, wallahi.
That's not the case.
All I can do is be the main cause for you. I can help you apply, and the rest for Allah subhanahu wa taala. I don't have any special links. I don't have any. Sometimes when
you don't know any admissions.
To be honest,
a good word in.
To be honest, I know the head of the department.
Oh, this is good. This one.
I mean, honest. I can just recommend.
That's what we
I can recommend, but to be honest, it's up to them who they choose. Akhi, wallahi.
No, of course. You're not gonna.
I got myself in the trouble here.
You're not gonna do exam, but
no, I know. I know the head of the The head of what? Student affairs.
Oh wow, student affairs.
Yeah.
The one who chooses
The guy who's gonna.
No, but I don't know how to speed that.
He's the guy.
No. Allah yahdikum.
But can we do? The reason I'm saying is because some of the brothers and sisters, if they want to apply,
Yeah.
and I'm saying, maybe if we could recommend your Instagram page,
Mm-hmm.
and the brothers can message you,
Inshallah.
and you can guide them through the process.
Inshallah.
As best you
Can I just say one thing about that point? Me, I was applying for Medina and different university for 5 years. 5 years. Since I was around 15.
Subhanallah.
Before I tried to finish, before I tried GCSEs, I was trying to apply for it.
Okay, I've done it for 3 years and I thought I was long.
No, I was trying to do it for 5 years.
There's a brother that we know, I don't want to mention him, but he's been doing it for 9 years.
La
I know
hawla.
a brother 12 years.
La hawla wa la quwwata illa
He's
billah.
above the age now.
La hawla.
Yeah, I think we're talking about the same guy then. Is it 12?
Maybe. Yeah, something like that. So على أي حال, me, I would try every avenue. Every time a sheikh will come from Saudi, I will go to him. I will literally, Saad al-Shitri.
Yeah.
I will literally went to him when he came to the UK. I sat next to him and said, Sheikh, listen, help me get into the university. I went to different, no one helps you, no one can help you.
Only Allah
Honestly,
can help you.
only Allah can help you. I realized that. They try, they want to help you, yes. But akhi, wallahi, and only Allah can help you.
Now, for example, sometimes you might get like, I know a brother from my area, he went to Sheikh Fahd al-Fahid. Sheikh Fahd al-Fahid gave him Tiska, he got accepted. You know, so sometimes if you see a Sheikh or an Alim and he gives you a letter of recommendation, he can actually get you accepted.
It
can help you. Or for
Yeah,
example, you know a prince. Or like,
Even if you know
no. Well, there was a guy who got accepted.
Follow the prince on WhatsApp.
There was
on Instagram. Follow the Saudi prince on Instagram.
There was a sheikh. He graduated from Medina, and he was friends with Prince Wasim.
Okay.
And Prince Wasim, the famous boxer, was friend with the governor of Medina.
Okay.
So what happened is he spoke to Prince Wasim.
For the boxer.
Yeah. Prince Wasim spoke to the governor of Medina. He got accepted straight away.
Whoa.
No, but I'll tell you, that's
So
some
hold on,
cases.
hold on.
So Saudi Arabia's about connections.
What's it? So what you're saying is, if we get in touch with the boxer Prince Wasim,
Yeah.
no, Prince Nassim,
yeah.
If we get in touch with Prince Nassim's got a hookup to Medina University.
I'll tell you one thing.
Okay.
Calm down, bro. Let me tell you one thing.
Or for example, like
I'll
you
tell
go to a famous sheikh or someone who's go like, for
But I'm
example,
saying these are
I'll give you
memes,
Sudais, for example.
These are all memes.
I'll give you example. If you went to Sudais, and Sudais is Qura, he took it to Qura, straight away being يعني.
Okay, it's not the case. I'm telling you now, it's not the case. Okay, me, I've had the experience. Yes, there are some cases where it works.
Yeah.
But a lot of times it's not gonna work. I'm telling you.
It's worth a try.
It's worth a try, definitely. I'm not saying don't try. Yes, go try and try get a link and all of that. But if you put your heart in, the reason why I'm saying it because I've been heartbroken, innit? And you know when you get heartbroken, you don't want to. Wallah, I've been so heartbroken. I would cry. I'm not in Medina University. I would cry because I thought I got this Sheikh Saad, what's his name? As-Sadlan. Salih As-Sadlan. He wrote a recommendation for me. I lost the recommendation. I was like this. فأصبح أقلب كفي على ما أنفق فيه. Wallah, I lost it. I went home. I was crying. Someone called me. Said, I found your recommendation. I was happy. I got the recommendation. I took it to the university in Riyadh. I didn't get accepted. The sheikh is a big sheikh. Because you can get these. Don't always work. That's my point. Don't put
Sometimes
your heart,
it does.
Sometimes a lot of times it does work. One of the princes actually gave me a recommendation to get into Medina, and I was accepted to Medina. I was accepted to Medina. Nah, I was accepted.
What did you
I had some other.
When we were there in Umrah, he had a little piece of paper, he was hiding it. He was hiding it in the end.
He's got a better link than me. He's got a fritz, you know.
These guys.
I know that we're straight. He does the fritz.
It works. I'm saying it works, yeah. But don't put your heart into it ever. Otherwise, you're gonna get heartbroken.
You're right.
Like Imran says, put your heart in front into Allah.
Allah is
gonna break your heart.
Allah sahih. Okay, Jay, inshallah, we'll conclude there. We'll conclude with the mention of Allah Azza wa Jal, inshallah ta'ala. Brothers and sisters, check out the links below the video before, inshallah. We've got quite a few more shows with the brothers, inshallah ta'ala. Oh, your Instagram, it's going to be on the link below, but just say it to them quickly at
Abu Abdulaziz Ahmed.
So spell it for them.
I'll put it down, inshallah.
Put it there, inshallah ta'ala, and make sure you guys follow him. And if you have any advice, he's very helpful, brother, wallahi. Very, very helpful, brother, and he's very enthusiastic about getting you guys to study, inshallah ta'ala. So I know he will do his best to help, inshallah ta'ala. Inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.